let's have some fun, guys. So, The Hill released an article talking about, this is basically like the power rankings for the 2024 Republican primary for president. And I want to go through this list here because we're going to get some good laughs out of this. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So number 10, they have Chris Sununu. Yes, a guy named Chris Sununu made the top 10. Let's refer to him as Chris Sahuhu because nobody knows who the fuck he is. God, I'm going to be destroyed with this new YouTube policy where you can't curse. Like, that just came out. I didn't even realize it. Now this whole video is going to be demonetized. So anyway, if you like the channel, link to Patreon below. Please help a brother out because I'm gonna get walloped by this new policy. Anyway, they say Sununu is one of the leading lights of the more moderate or pro-establishment wing of the GOP. He won re-election handily in November, while a more extreme Trump-endorsed Senate candidate, Don Bolduc, went down in defeat in his state. Sununu is cut from somewhat similar cloth as other Trump critics who appear to be contemplating bids, including Governor Asa Hutchinson and Governor Chris Christie. But the bottom line is, it's doubtful that any of those candidates can win the nomination in a party that has come to be dominated by its more fiery populist wing. Okay, thank you, The Hill, for that last line. Basically, what you're saying is, I don't even know why we're mentioning this guy. This guy's a goofball. This guy's not going to go anywhere. This guy's mom doesn't even know who he is. Yes, true. All right, next, who we got? South Dakota Governor Christie Noam. This is Governor Christie Noam here. Now, if I remember correctly, guys, tell me if I'm wrong on this. Didn't she have an affair with that Corey Lewandowski guy? Is this her? I think it's her. I could be wrong, but I think it was her. So that's the last time I saw her in the news. The other time before that was she was one of the worst governors when it came to COVID and was just like, I'm not going to do shit, and if you die, that's what's up. I mean, I'm strawmanning her there, but you get the gist of it. I mean, I remember her being horrendous on the issue of COVID. Anyway, and also Governor of South Dakota. Governor of South Dakota. I mean, I probably have more employees in who work under me than she has people who live in South Dakota. You're not managing dick in South Dakota. Like, what do you have to do? Just make sure you can plow shit because it's going to fucking snow a lot, and then make sure Ted the Buffalo doesn't die, and you're good. That's it. That's all you got to do. Noam, plainly on the MAGA wing of the party, could be an appealing choice for some pro-Trump voters, especially if the former president were to falter badly. Noam has a compelling personal story outlined in a recent memoir, a record of vigorous opposition to COVID-19 related restrictions. I love how that's like, oh, you're going to do well on the Republican side. You didn't want to do anything when that virus came. And a taste for the provocative. Her staff gifted her a flamethrower as a Christmas present this year, okay? Noam was also ahead of every other major contender in banning TikTok from state-owned government device. Again, I love how she banned TikTok, bro. This is going to be fucking, like, she'll be president. She'll ban a whole bunch of other stuff, too, bro. It'll be great. Amid security concerns recently, numerous other governors have followed her lead on that issue. Noam is a gifted communicator. I've heard her talk like 2 times, and I wasn't impressed. Though she would have to get past several bigger names, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's her. Next, who we got? Senator Tim Scott. Scott coasted to election in South Carolina, this fall, and ended the campaign with more than $20 million still left over, according to Open Secrets. The only black Republican senator, Scott is seen by his backers as one of the best options to unite the pro-Trump and Trump-skeptical wings of the GOP. He has criticized the former president on occasion, but never intemperately, and Trump supported his bid for re-election. At the same time, Scott is unimpeachably conservative in his record on everything from gun rights to health care. I love that. Unimpeachably conservative on health care, which means what? His stance is like, bro, let's do nothing at all, bro. It's great. 85 million people uninsured or underinsured, 45,000 people dying because they don't have basic health care. That sounds good to me, bro. Let's leave it like that. I'm really conservative. Scott has also sought to reach across the aisle on occasion, working with Cory Booker to try and enact some level of policing reform. The effort ultimately failed. Scott keeps a close inner circle, and no one outside it seems quite sure if he hankers for the Oval Office. Skeptics don't think the fire burns within him, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so with Scott, here's my take on Scott. First of all, when he talks, here's my reaction. I mean, he's got the personality of a Fig Newton. Like, there's just nothing there. But, having said that, you know damn well, whoever actually wins the Republican primary, most likely Trump or DeSantis, they might want Scott just so they can bat away any and all accusations of, like, right-wing bigotry or xenophobia or racism or fascism, because they just be like, who, me, bro? Sure, I was just goose-stepping last night, but we got a black guy on the ticket, bro. It's whatever, bro. We're totally progressive and stuff. So that's a possibility, just to pick him as VP for the most cynical identity politics reasons imaginable. And to be clear, I'm not saying the Democrats aren't above this. They invented this game. I mean, why do you think Kamala Harris is VP? I mean, we're talking about somebody who couldn't even make it to Iowa. She had to drop out before Iowa because she was polling like at negative 17%. She couldn't get her own family to vote for her. She imploded spectacularly. She started out with high name recognition and started out as one of the leading contenders, and then she started talking and it went... And so why would Biden pick her? Gee, I wonder why. Another old white guy who's going to win the presidency. Well, let's cover our bases. Let's pick the black woman. Sir, she only has 7 supporters. Yeah, but she's a black woman, so let's do it. Former VP Mike Pence, they got him at number 7, which, by the way, is kind of hilarious because even they're admitting, like, I mean, really? This guy? Really? Like, yeah, if the year was like 1988, maybe Mike Pence would have a chance. The belief Pence will run for president is so strong that in late December, reports gained steam that he had filed the necessary paperwork to launch until a spokesman clarified that the paperwork appeared to be a hoax. Blah, blah, blah. They go, we don't even need to read this. You guys get the gist of it. He's doing interviews all over the place. He's doing events all over the place. He's barely hiding that he's going to run. So what lane is he going to take? He's going to take the lane of, I'm really proud of everything that me and Trump did. We were wonderful. We were awesome. We were amazing. The one thing I disagree with Trump on is when he tried to overthrow our government. Just a little disagreement. When he tried to do the whole insurrection coup thing and just stay in office, even though he lost by like 7 million votes and Biden got over 300 electoral votes. Just the tiniest disagreement. But other than that, I mean, I'm the best option, bro. And it's like, okay, but the dude who was the president the last time is going to run again. And so if people want that again, they'll just go for the main dude. And also, he's in no place. Like, people say this about DeSantis. Oh, he's got no way to attack Trump. First of all, I don't think that's true. Second of all, because of how DeSantis is plotted, I don't even think he necessarily has to directly attack Trump, right? That's one point. But Mike Pence, how is he going to differentiate from Trump at all, other than what I just said? I'm anti-coup, but I'm in favor of all the shitty things that we did. Man, I loved it when we took money from the predatory payday loan industry, $1 million for our inauguration, and then we got rid of all the regulations and dropped the court cases against them. That was awesome. I love it when we cut taxes for the wealthy, where 83% of the benefits of that bill went to the top 1% corporations. I love that tax bill that outsourced jobs. I love destroying the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a bureau that gave $12 billion back to defrauded Americans. I love that we ruined that. Fuck those 12 billion people. Like, what are you running on, bro? What are you on? I'll tell you. The only other difference between Pence and Trump. You ready? You guys know this. Pence is way more anti-gay. Like, way. Remember, there was a famous story about how Trump and Pence were in the White House together. And Trump made some joke like, don't tell Pence that guy's gay. He's going to want to throw him off the roof, bro. And it's like, yeah, he's a true religious zealot. And he owes his career, by the way. Pence says this all the time, that like, I credit Rush Limbaugh to my career because he liked Rush Limbaugh, then he did his own radio show, then eventually he got to Congress. This is a guy whose idol is fucking just as bad as Trump, if not worse than Trump, except this guy's also super duper religious. And I'm not kidding. I think Pence really believes God wants him to be president. There's been hints of that all along, like, bro, it's my destiny, bro. Well, I hope you won't be upset then when your destiny is that you get 4% or a maximum of like 12% and shit the bed massively. All right, number 6, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, a guy so fucking irrelevant, they didn't even add a picture of him for his spot. Did you guys have trouble finding a picture of Glenn Youngkin? You Google image search Glenn Youngkin, and they're like, don't even bother. Just go away. Nobody cares about this guy. So, of course, he won the governor race in Virginia, but he was running against Terry McAuliffe, which is like, can you beat a Yeti with a record of terrible politics? And so, yeah, you could beat the Yeti with terrible politics, and that's what happened. But Glenn Youngkin is like a typical establishment Republican. I think he was like a Goldman Sachs guy or some shit. No, it wasn't Goldman Sachs. It was one of the other ones. BlackRock, I don't remember. One of those. And yeah, he won in Virginia, but like nationally, I don't know, man. He's got that goofy, affable, like boy next door thing, and the Republicans want blood sports. They don't want like Leave It to Beaver type stuff, which is what Glenn Youngkin offers. All right, then we got Mike Pompeo. They have him ahead of Pence, which is hilarious. But Mike Pompeo is, there's no way. There's no way. This guy, I talk about this all the time. When some people speak, they have the X factor. They have charisma. You want to listen to them speak. With Mike Pompeo, he has anti-charisma. He has the negative X factor. So, like, when he talks, you're just immediately like, what's for dinner? I'm tired. Anybody have a breath mint? I'd like a breath mint. Like, you just can't focus on what the fucking guy says. And also, he was a CIA goon. He was apparently part of the plot to attempt to kill Julian Assange. He very famously said, like, I was part of the CIA. Yeah, we lied, we cheated, we stole. That was our whole point. You want this guy to be fucking president? This guy. This guy was probably behind almost all of the incredibly hawkish actions taken by the Trump administration. The massive increase in drone strikes, for example, helping to rip up the Iran nuclear agreement. You want this guy. This guy's not right about literally anything. Anything. Career insider, CIA goon. Fuck out of here. All right, who else we got? Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is my favorite on this list for this simple reason. She is absolutely beloved by the establishment. They love her so fucking much. But outside of the establishment, there's literally nobody in the country that cares about her. I mean, and they love, oh my God, she's like part Indian and stuff, bro. Oh, we're going to get a female. We're going to get a female who's a minority. It's going to be great, bro. But nobody actually wants her. Nobody cares about her. And she also, again, negative charisma. There's nothing there. This is like, it's just straight out of central casting from like a movie. The person who Republican elites think this is what Americans would want. Look at her. She's got proper posture and she talks really slow and boring and she's an attractive woman. And oh my God, she just got 0.2% in the vote. It reminds me of like Tim Pawlenty on the Democratic side when he ran. And like the establishment loved him and they're like, oh, he's going to do well. And then he didn't even launch. He didn't even get off the ground. And it's the same shit. Or like Scott Walker, right? The establishment Republicans love Scott Walker and he had to drop out in 7.5 minutes because they're like, oh, turns out what Republican elites like is literally nothing like what your average American likes. All right. And then let's get through the rest of these. Ted Cruz, okay, hilarious. He is the biggest cuck in the entire Senate. I think there's no denying that. He very famously didn't endorse Trump and said, vote your conscience at the RNC. And then after his sugar daddy, political sugar daddy, billionaire, the Mercers, slammed the door in his face and said, basically, fuck you for not endorsing Trump. Remember who you fucking work for. Then he fell in line and was phone begging for Trump with his little Ted Cruz face on. I'm Ted Cruz, me. I'm going to vote for the guy who shit on my wife and said she was ugly and said my dad killed JFK, me. He is the saddest person. Zero principles. But look, keep it real. When he ran the last time, who came in second? It was Ted Cruz. And that far-right base, Ted Cruz has some supporters in that far-right base. So this is a guy, if he runs, or more likely when he runs, he's going to get a decent number from that right-wing base. Which, again, is hilarious to think of. But he will. But this is one of those things where it's like, you just... What the right-wing base wants and what the country more generally wants are totally at odds. Because this guy has the most punchable face of anybody I've ever seen, ever. Everybody knows that. Everybody. You go to the Trump rallies. Remember when the good liars went to the Trump rally? And they were talking to the people, and they were like, one thing we agree on, fuck Ted Cruz, right? And they're like, yeah, fuck Ted Cruz, bro. So anyway, this video is going to get demonetized like 17 times over. By the time this video is done, I'm going to owe YouTube money. So please support the show on Patreon, because this new cursing rule is really going to doom me. Anyway, all right, let's get to the last two. Number 2, Trump. They don't have him at number 1. Agreed. He's one of the favorites. And then, of course, number 1, they have DeSantis. So I agree and disagree with that. I agree that DeSantis is the favorite head-to-head. I disagree that in a race that had 10 people in it, like you see here, that DeSantis is the favorite. I think Trump becomes the favorite if you have like 7, 8, 9, 10 Republican candidates running, because they're all going to split the rest of the vote, and Trump's going to have his dedicated 25%, 32%, and he could win on that with the plurality. So really what needs to happen is all the Republicans who are not Trump need to get in a room, sit down, talk it out, figure out exactly who's going to run. The best chance of taking down Trump is going with DeSantis, and DeSantis would have to say, all right, Nikki Haley, what do you want to be? You want to be VP? Okay, fine. Tim Scott, you want to be ambassador to the UN? Fine. Okay, let's do it. So, and then everybody else drops out, and they prop one up, and then that's the way you take down Trump. But with all the people in, Trump's the favorite. If it's just head-to-head, Trump versus DeSantis, then DeSantis is definitely the favorite. So anyway, there's your breakdown. Literally, the list should have been three things. 1, DeSantis. 2, Trump. 3, wild card. And you just put a couple of the faces of the ones that are most likely to be a wild card. Maybe Ted Cruz, Pence, and that's it, right? But anyway, there you have it. It's fun. All these people are goofballs and ridiculous. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.